Hello out there, welcome to this tutorial on polynomials. In this video, we'll be looking at addition and subtraction. Before then, let's take a look at some definitions. Polynomials are expressions consisting of sum of integral non-negative powers of x and numerical constants. In general, p of x is equal to an x raised to power n plus an minus 1 x raised to power n minus 1 plus ... that is representing some other terms before we get to a2 x raised to power 2 plus a1x plus a0 is a polynomial where an minus 1, a2, a1 are the coefficients of x raised to power n, x raised to power n minus 1 up till x raised to power 2 and x respectively, and a0 is called the constant term of the polynomial. The highest power of the variable is n and is called the degree of the polynomial. If n is 3, it will be a polynomial of degree 3. If n is 5, it is called the polynomial of degree 5. Now, p1 of x is equal to 5x squared plus x minus 3, and p2 of x is equal to 8x raised to power 3 minus 3x squared plus 9x plus 5 are polynomials. And also, f1 of x equal to 3x raised to power negative 3 minus x plus 3, and f2 of x equal to square root of 7x cubed plus x squared minus 2x plus 1 are not polynomials. If you can see by definition, the sum of integral non-negative powers of x, and here there is negative power of x, so this is not a polynomial. Here, the fact that we have it as square root has disqualified it as a polynomial. So from here, we go into addition and subtraction. So we start with problem 1. For problem 1, given p1 of x equal to x3 minus 3x2 plus 5x minus 8, p2 of x is equal to 3x2 plus 6x minus 1, and p3 of x is equal to 6x3 plus 7x squared minus 9x plus 5. Evaluate a. p2 of x plus p3 of x, b. p3 of x plus p1 of x, c. p2 of x minus p1 of x, and d. p3 of x minus p2 of x plus p1 of x. So we start with the a part of the problem. For a, we are to find p2 of x plus p3 of x. So what we do, I'm going to give us two approaches to adding up the polynomials or subtraction. So thereafter, we will now choose one. So we look at p2 of x. Our p2 of x is x squared plus 6x minus 1, then plus p3 of x is x raised to power 3 plus 7x minus 9x plus 5. So what we do here is collect the like terms, the terms with the same powers. So from here, there's only one term with power 3, so we have it as 4x raised to power 3. Then we go to the other terms with power 2. So we have 3x squared plus 7x squared, then plus 6x minus 9x, then minus 1 plus 5. We can then simplify. So we still have 4x cubed, 3x squared plus 7x squared gives 10x squared. And 6x minus 9x gives minus 3x, minus 1 plus 5 gives 4. And this is the result of adding P2 of x and P3 of x. Then we go to B. And here I am going to give us another approach. It is just a matter of arrangement. And what we do here is we have P3 of x. This is it. And P1 of x. Here it is. So I will now look at the powers. So the highest power here is 3, 4x raised to the power 3 and x raised to the power 3. So I'm going to number from 3 down to 0. So we have 3, 2, 1, 0. So in positioning this, I have P3 of x. Since this is 4x raised to the power 3, it comes under 3. So I have 4x raised to the power 3. This is 7x squared. It comes under 2. This is minus 9x. It comes under 1. And this is plus 5. It comes under 0. For the second polynomial, which is P1 of x, we have x raised to the power 3 minus 3x squared plus 5x minus 8. So the x raised to the power 3 comes under 3, which is invariably under 4x cubed. So we have plus x3, then minus 2x squared comes under 7x squared, and plus 5x comes under negative 9x, then minus 8 comes under positive 5. Then we now add. So starting from here, 4x3 plus x3 gives 5x3, 7x squared plus negative 3x squared. So positive times negative gives negative. It is as good as saying 7x squared minus 3x squared, which will give 4x squared. Minus 9x plus positive 5x is as good as saying minus 9x plus 5x, which gives negative 4x. And here 5 plus negative 8 is as good as saying 5 minus 8, which gives negative 3. So we have the result as negative 3, and that is the sum of P3 of x and P1 of x. So we can see now that this is easier. So we'll now be using this approach. It is well arranged and more presentable. Then we go to the C part. For C, I have P2 of x minus P1 of x. Again, P2 is of degree 2 and P1 is of degree 3. So what we do now is we number 3 down to 0. So I have 3, 2, 1, 0. P2 of x, P2 of x minus P1 of x. So the highest degree, which is 3x squared, will come under 2. So I have 3x squared plus 6x, then minus 1. The minus 1 under 0. Then this is going to be minus P1 of x. So the highest degree there is x3. It comes under 3. Then minus 3x squared comes under 3x squared. Plus 5x comes under positive 6x, and minus 8 comes under negative 1. In P2 of x, the term x raised to the power 3 is missing. So we make it 0x3 because the coefficient is 0 there. This is just for the purpose of simplification. So we can see now 0x3 minus x3 will give us minus x3. Then 3x squared minus 3x squared will give us 3x squared plus 3x squared, which will give us plus 6x squared. And 6x minus 5x will give us x. And here negative 1 minus negative 8, which is going to be negative 1 plus 8, and that will give us positive 7. And we are done solving P2 of x minus P1 of x. Then we go to the last part, which is D. And in D, we have P3 of x minus P2 of x plus P1 of x. So in this problem, I'm going to arrange the positive terms first. Since the P3 of x is positive and P1 of x is positive, so I'll do the addition first, then before the subtraction. So I go, so P3 of x plus P1 of x. For your information, we have already done the P3 of x plus P1 of x. We can just recall the solution, which is 5x3 plus 4x squared minus 4x minus 3, that is from 4b above. So we can now go ahead to say P3 of x plus P1 of x minus P2 of x is equal to, we have already gotten this to be this. So bringing out our numbering, 3, 2, 1, 0, so that 5x raised to the power 3 comes under 3, 4x squared comes under 2, minus 4x comes under 1, and minus 3 comes under 0. So we go ahead, then we say minus P2 of x. P2 of x is 3x squared plus 6x minus 1. So that the 3x squared comes under the 4x squared, and plus 6x comes under minus 4x, and the minus 1 comes under minus 3. Then we can now simplify. So here there is nothing to subtract, so we bring it down. 5x3, 4x squared minus 3x squared gives x squared, and minus 4x minus positive 6x is as good as saying minus 4x minus 6x, which gives minus 10x. Then minus 3 minus negative 1 will be minus 3 plus 1, which will give minus 2. So we are done solving problem 1a to d. Then we go to problem 2. For problem 2, given P1 of x is equal to 4x squared plus 5x minus 7, P2 of x is also given, and P3 of x. But to evaluate A, 2P1 of x plus P3 of x, B, C, and D. So we start with A part of the problem. For A, we have 2P1 of x plus P3 of x. So what we do is find 2P1 of x first, then we now add it to P3 of x. So to find 2P1 of x, we are going to multiply 2 by every term of P1 of x. So that's going to be into 4x3 plus 5x minus 7. So we expand the bracket. 2 times 4x cubed gives 8x cubed. 2 times 5x gives 10x. And 2 times negative 7 gives negative 14. So here we are going to then add it to P3 of x. So 2P1 of x plus P3 of x is equal to, and we still remember our number if we are applying the tabular form, 2x, 4, x3, the highest degree there is 4. So our numbering is going to be from 4 down to 0. So I have 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And again, we arrange, we have 2P1 of x, and 2P1 of x is starting from 8x raised to the power 3. So we are starting it from 3, so it goes under 3, which is 8x3 plus 10x. The term of x raised to the power 2 is missing. It is not just missing in action. The coefficient is 0, so we can represent it as plus 0x squared. Then 10x comes under 1, and negative 14 comes under 0. Then plus P3 of x. we said the highest power there is 4, so the 2x4 will come under 4, and plus x3 comes under the 8, minus 3x squared comes under 0x squared, plus 8x comes under 10x, and plus 10 comes under negative 14. Then we simplify. This is coming down as 2x4. 8x raised to the power 3 plus x3 will give us 9x raised to the power 3. 0x squared plus negative 3x squared gives negative 3x squared. 10x plus 8x gives 18x, and minus 14. And negative 14 plus 10 gives negative 4. And we are done. Then we go to B part. For B, I have P2 of x plus 3P3 of x. So what we do here is we are going to find P3 of x first, which is going to give us 3 times P3. And our P3 is 2x4 plus x3 minus 3x2 plus 8x plus 10. Expanding this, we are going to have it as 3 times 2x4, which is 6x4. 3 times x3 gives 3x3, and 3 times negative 3x squared gives negative 9x squared. 3 times 8x gives 24x, and 3 times 10 gives 30. We now go ahead to add. So we have P2 of x plus 3P3 of x. Remember our numbering, still starting from 4 down to 0, since that is the highest degree. So we have 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And P2 of x. Our P2 of x is of degree 3. So 5x3 comes under 3. Minus 4x squared comes under 2, plus 6x comes under 1, and minus 5 comes under 0. And our 3P3 of x, which has the highest degree of 4, so we are adding it to 6x4 under the 4, plus 3x3 comes under 5x3, minus 9x squared comes under negative 4x squared, plus 24x comes under 6x, and plus 30 comes under negative 5. Then we simplify. So 6x4 is coming down since there is nothing to add to it. Then 5x3 plus 3x3 gives 8x3. Negative 4x squared plus negative 9x squared. It is as good as saying negative 4x squared minus 9x squared, which is negative 13x squared. 6x plus positive 24x gives 30x, and minus 5 plus positive 30, that's going to give us 25. And we are done with B. Then we go to C. For C, we are multiplying P2 by 4 and multiplying P3 by 2. So starting with 4P2 of x, that's going to be 4 into 5x3 minus 4x squared plus 6x minus 5. This will be 4 times 3x3 gives 20x3. 4 times negative 4x squared gives negative 16x squared. 4 times 6x gives positive 24x, and 4 times negative 5 gives negative 20. Then we go for 2p3 of x. So we are going to have it as 2 into 2x4 plus x3 minus 3x squared plus 8x plus 10. 2 times 2x raised to the power 4 will give us 4x raised to the power 4. 2 times x3 gives 2x3. 2 times negative 3x squared gives negative 6x squared. 2 times 8x gives 16x, and 2 times 10 gives 20. Now we have gotten the two expressions for 4p2 of x and 2p3 of x. So we substitute so that 4p of x minus 2p of x, the highest degree there is 4. We number again 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and 4p2 of x, the degree of this is 3, so 20x3 is coming under 3, minus 16x squared is coming under 2, plus 24x is coming under 1, and minus 20 is coming under 0. So then minus, then we bring in 2p3 of x, which is 4x4, being the first term and the highest degree there is 4. It comes under 4, plus 2x3 comes under 20x3, minus 6x squared comes under negative 16x squared, 16x comes under 24x, and 20 comes under negative 20. Then we simplify. So we said this is as good as saying 0 minus 4x4, which will give us negative 4x4. 20x3 minus 2x3 gives 18x3. Negative 16x squared minus negative 6x squared is going to be as good as saying minus times minus plus. So 16x squared plus 6x squared will give us negative 10x squared. 24x minus 16x gives plus 8x, and minus 20 minus positive 20 gives negative 40. And we are done with problem 2c. We go to 2d. Now 2d, we have 3p1 of x minus 2p2 of x plus p3 of x. Again, I'm going to rearrange the positive terms before the negative and so on. But before then, I'm going to find 3p1 of x and 2p2 of x. So for 3p1 of x, it is going to be 3 multiplying by 4x3 plus 5x minus 7. This will give me 12x3 plus 15x minus 21. And again, I have 2p2 of x, which is going to be 2 times 5x3 minus 4x squared plus 6x minus 5. 2 times 5x3 gives 10x3. 2 times negative 4x squared gives 8x squared. 2 times 6x gives 12x. And 2 times negative 5 gives negative 10. Then we said we are going to rearrange. That's going to give us 3p1 of x plus p3 of x. And the highest degree there is 4. So we still number 4 down to 0. And here 3p1 of x. The 3p1 of x has the highest degree of 3, and p3 of x has the highest degree of 4. So I am bringing in 3p1 of x first, so that 12x3 goes under 3, and plus 15x goes under 1, but here I'm representing it with 0x squared, then plus 15x minus 21. Then this is plus p3 of x. p3 of x has the highest degree of 4, and we are going to put the 2x4 under 4 and the x3 under 12x3 minus 2x squared under 0x squared, plus 8x under 15x and the 10 under negative 21. We add this first. So we are here, there's nothing to add. So I have 2x4, 12x3 plus x3 gives 13x3, 0x squared plus negative 3x squared gives negative 3x squared, 15x plus 8x gives 23x, and minus 21 plus 10 gives negative 11. So we have negative 11 there. We can then go ahead to subtract 2p2 of x from our result, so that our final answer now will be minus the highest degree of 2p2 of x is 3. So it comes under 13x squared, minus 8x squared comes under negative 3x squared, and the 12x comes under 23x, minus 10 comes under negative 11. Now 2x4 is coming down since there's nothing to subtract from it. 13x3 minus 10x3 gives 3x3, minus 3x squared minus negative x squared gives 5x squared, and 23x minus 12x gives 11x will give us negative 1, since it's going to be minus 11 plus 10, which is negative 1. And that's the end of solution to problem 2. We go to problem 3. For problem 3, this is not addition per se, this is in preparation for our next lesson. So problem 3 says, given that p of x is 5x3 minus 4x squared plus 3x minus 2, find a p1, b p negative 2, c p3, and d p0. We'll still have a lot to say about this in our next video, but before then, let's see, starting from a. So we have p of 1. So p of 1 means wherever you see x, you put 1. So we are going to have 5 into 1 cube minus 4 into 1 squared plus 3 into 1 minus 2. So this is going to give us 1 times 5 gives 5. This will also give us 1 times negative 4 gives negative 4. This is 3 times 1, which gives 3, then minus 2. 5, 8 minus 6, your answer is 2. And then the next one is b, which is p of negative 2. Also, wherever you see x, you substitute in the value negative 2. So we have 5 into negative 2 cube minus 4 into negative 2 squared plus 3 into negative 2, then minus 2. Negative 2 cube is negative 8, and negative 8 times 5 gives negative 40. Negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 4 gives negative 16. Then this is positive 3 times negative 2, and it gives negative 6 minus 2. And all of them are negative numbers. We just add them and put the negative sign, and that gives negative 64. And that's all for B. We go to C. For C, P of 3 means wherever you see x, you put 3. So we have 5, 3 raised to the power 3, minus 4, 3 squared, plus 3 into 3 minus 2. 3 raised to the power 3 is 27 times 5 gives 135. 3 squared is 9 times 4 gives 36. And this is 3 times 3 giving us 9 minus 2. And here, simplifying this, we have 106. And the last one, which is P of 0. So that's going to give us 5 into 0 cube plus 4 into 0 squared plus 3 into 0 minus 2. All this will give us 0, and our final answer is negative 2. That's the end of solution to problem 3. This is the highest we can take in this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and share this video. Check the description section of this video on our YouTube channel to get the link to the playlist containing all the videos on polynomials. Until we come your way again, goodbye.